Good evening. It is Wednesday, December 18, 2024, and welcome to the Town of Carmel Town Board. Tonight's meeting is a voting meeting, but first we have a public hearing. I call this meeting to order, and I ask everyone please rise, face the flag. Councilwoman McDonough will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to remember all of the men and women who are fighting for our freedom. Thank you.
If our town clerk, Alice Daly, would do a roll call attendance, please.
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Present.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Here.
Councilman Lombardi?
Here.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Here. So our first order of business tonight is a public hearing. It's a proposed local law amending Chapter 156 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Zoning. Tonight, like every other public hearing, is a chance for us to listen to what you have to say. We had done the public hearing before. We listened to what was said, and if you remember in October, we passed the BEST law. We passed the solar, we prohibited the solar farms in our town, so it's already in the code. We did that after the public comment and batteries. Yes, batteries and solar. After the public comment, we did that in October, made that codified in the law. They're prohibited. So tonight we're going to listen to people's comments about the new zoning code. We had made some changes based on the comments previous, so we are open. We are going to listen, and we will take whatever you say, and we'll talk about it and see if there's any other changes we're going to make. So, Alice, could you read the public notice?
Sure. Notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel will conduct a public hearing at Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, 10541, originally scheduled on Wednesday, December...
I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure.
Any of you?
We didn't say anything yet. She's reading the notice.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel will conduct a public hearing at Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, 10541, originally scheduled on Wednesday, December 11, 2024, at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter that evening as possible, on a proposed local law amending Chapter 156 of the Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Zoning. Copies of the full text of the proposed local law are available in the lobby at Town Hall, from the Town Clerk's office during normal business hours, as well as on the Town of Carmel website. At said public hearing, all interested persons shall be heard on the subject thereof. The Town Board will make every effort to assure that the public hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the Town Clerk. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, Alice Daly, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Alice. And just so everybody knows, we have a representative from Nelson Pope, the contractors that helped us with the master plan. Bonnie is sitting over there to help us answer questions. So if Kevin would get me the list of people that signed up to speak, and can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so Scott?
Good evening. My name is Scott Moriello. I live at 17 Lounsbury Drive. I'm here tonight a little perplexed, but I'll try and be as clear as I can because, as I think everybody in the audience knows, we have full-time jobs that are not, we're not legal scholars when it comes to reading the language of this plan, and I feel that the things that have changed feel to me in some cases, sudden and concerning, so I want to just voice my opinion on that, and maybe you can give some insight into that to see if my concerns are founded. I stood here 2 months ago and commended this board for modeling how good government is supposed to work. You listened to your town residents and neighbors and made a 6-month moratorium to protect this town and made a law to virtually ban all best facilities in Carmel. I stand here tonight more concerned than ever that my praise 2 months ago was premature. Each of you knew that these measures would still not be enough to completely protect this town from squashing this proposed best facility. That is why you worked on finally passing the master plan and near the closing stage of the rezoning plan. It's my understanding that it is my understanding that in that plan, several properties were rezoned in order to further protect residents and property owners in Carmel. This is the entire purpose of zoning in the first place, to protect the interest of property owners, but most importantly, protecting the overwhelming residents of the towns. Without rezoning properties in this town from light industrial, you open the door for any landowner to put thousands of residents in Mahopac and Somers at risk with potential best facilities. Whether it's your intention or not, you have signaled to Governor Hochul, the state legislature, Equinor, and East Point Energy that Carmel is now vulnerable. You have made it clear that you do not want to do everything in your power to protect your residents and businesses in neighboring communities from this dangerous best facility. So just a question that I have and a concern I have, and again, we're trying to, as a community, as concerned citizens, to just figure out at times what's going on, because it's hard, right? We got families, we've got lives, we're trying to figure things out, so pardon my confusion, if it is at all. But my question is that if the zoning right now stays as it is, right, as it's proposed, it's my understanding that the property that's adjacent to mine will be rezoned from light industrial to a recreational to some extent, and I may be mixing up those words, so I apologize, which would be, I believe, ideal. And I think that would further protect us from any power grab from the state to try and come in and do what they want with their goals. Something that I was made light of today, but I didn't get a chance to look into the proposal, is a question that I have, is that, is there any clause in the current zoning proposal that allows for all pending applications to be grandfathered in to the system? And it's not there?
No.
That's the only thing, that's my question, if you don't mind. And I'm sorry if I'm saying it incorrectly, but all pending applications grandfathered in.
They're prohibited.
No.
That's a valid question.
Okay.
It's not right.
Right. So,
No.
so in the end, I guess, if it passes, right, as is, in the zoning that we want, we'd actually be in favor of it. But my concern is if that clause is in there, then it would allow for proposed facilities to come in.
Regardless of any application regarding best facilities, they are prohibited in the town of Carmel. So it does not matter what the designation of the property is, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
Greg?
Yeah.
They're prohibited. No matter, no one's being grandfathered in, they are prohibited in the town of Carmel.
Again, I respectfully, under the advice of our own council, and I'm speaking as someone who's a layman when it comes to this, their concern was that the town may be doing their due diligence in order to do the most. They have to make sure that zoning changes on that property.
It has nothing to do with, again, like you said earlier in your comment, if the state wants to come in and overrule us, they have the authority to do that. We currently cannot, we prohibit all best facilities in the town of Carmel. Correct?
So
Yeah, we
so
passed
Scott,
that
what,
October 16th.
Yeah, October 16th, it was,
Yeah, I mean,
on October 16th, we voted on the best facilities and the solar farms. And we, on that day, everyone up here, I think it was myself, Councilman Lombardi, and Supervisor Cazzari, I think Susie was absent that day, we voted to prohibit best facilities in the town of Carmel. So regardless of what the designation of the property is, they are prohibited in the town of Carmel.
And Scott, you're right with it. Right now, what's in the zoning code now, which is not passed yet, is that it's called a PRD zone.
Yep.
And that's planned recreation destination. There's 21 uses that can be put there.
Okay.
All right, and that's on.
And there is commercial
and
uses
there's-
in that
that's on
destination.
the thing here, if you guys want to all read it.
I appreciate that. It would no longer be light industrial, is that correct?
It's not.
As
it's
of right
not.
now, yeah.
As
Okay.
it is not.
As of
If-
right
if-
now, it's not.
If we pass.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm being
In
honest.
order-
As of right now, it's not.
In order for it to be PRD, we'd have to vote on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
But
okay.
regardless of anything, all the technical stuff that might be said tonight, whether it's PRD, whether it's commercial and light industrial,
I don't know, yeah, I think so, yeah. Sorry.
no, that's okay.
Okay.
We have prohibited those kinds of, the best facilities and the solar facilities anywhere in the town of Carmel, regardless of designation of zoning.
Okay.
And I saw some crazy stuff going around Facebook, whatever, today. That's the penultimate law, right? We passed that, that's it.
Right. I think that as an extra order of protection, as long as the zoning stays the way it is, that would make it a lot more difficult for the state to do, if they do want to get involved, that would make it harder for them to do it. And I think in order to protect the citizens of, and businesses and residents, et cetera, of Mahopac and Somers, it would be best to maintain that, the current zoning that is proposed. Because it would be an extra layer of protection, and without that layer of protection, it puts the community at risk for the state legislature to come in and take that, regardless of a local statute. That's my understanding, and that's what I've been advised.
Thank you, Scott, for your concern.
Scott, the sad fact
Appreciate
of the
it.
matter is, no matter what we do tonight, whether we pass this, don't pass this,
Yep.
any laws that we have, the legislature and the governor can override most of what we do.
Completely understand.
One
more level-
And that's
yeah, go
why, people say elections have
Yeah.
consequences.
And we'll
They do.
sue them, and
So-
But we
And
we
we'll
would
win.
fight them
Yeah.
tooth
Of
and
course,
nail,
I'm not-
believe me.
That's-
No, I
that goes
appreciate
beyond-
that. I
That goes
appreciate
beyond,
that.
right, that goes without saying. But what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
we've done, there's no battery farms in the town of Carmel.
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Noel?
A little shorter than he is. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I actually haven't seen Scott today. He was at one place, I was at another week for us, like at the driveway. And we share kind of the same brain, only he's much more articulate than I am. But here we go. Noel Moriello, 17 Lounsbury. Good evening, Supervisor Cazzari, members of the Town Board of Carmel. I had hoped this evening to celebrate the board's opportunity to pass the zoning portion of the comprehensive plan, but instead I stand here somewhat disappointed and feeling a little bit deceived at the board's decision to possibly not deliver on the promise to rezone the particular properties in the best interest of the town of Carmel and neighboring communities. While we understand that zoning laws are not meant to be reconsidered for light and transitory reasons, the peril that the potential proposed projects pose to residential communities deem it necessary in this particular instance. While the town's new comprehensive plan is going to outlaw, and that law passed in October outlaws dangerous projects, and we are certainly appreciative of that, they are an important first step. But we all know this fight has the potential to continue at the state level, and without that added layer of protection that the rezoning would afford, we're all left vulnerable. We know this. We were advised by legal counsel that this additional piece would be a protective measure that would make it that much more difficult at the state level should they deem it necessary to step in. And so because of that, we ask you to simply consider that going forward. I do find the timing of this all rather concerning. With the election over and the moratorium about to end, it now seems that the needs of a smaller group of private individuals are being given priority over possibly bigger and broader community issues at large. I beseech the town board to keep the interest of the wider community foremost in your minds as you proceed with decisions that promise to impact not just the entire town, but the county and the state as well. Possibly consider an extension on the moratorium so that we can accommodate maybe these new challenges.
Well, it's the law
Noel,
now. The
but-
moratorium
It's
is,
Noel, so the moratorium is moot. The moratorium, it's actually a moot point. Because
then-
what the moratorium was
codified as law.
was
It's-
time.
It was a placeholder.
Right.
Understood,
And so
for
we
the
passed-
October
we-
legislation.
So we passed the law, so the
My
moratorium is a
understanding
moot
was
point.
that the moratorium was also to kind of free up some time to get the comprehensive plan
No.
passed.
No, that's not what
Okay,
the
then I'm
moratorium.
misinformed.
No, that's
I
okay. So the
apologize for
moratorium
that.
was just on that particular topic,
Okay,
right? It was on the best facilities. So
Okay.
we passed that, we gave ourselves 6 months to do due diligence, research and whatever.
Okay.
And then we proposed the law in September, which we voted on October 16th,
Okay.
which makes now the moratorium a moot point.
understood, and thank you for the clarification.
Sure, no problem.
And just would ask that in addition, and I think you clarified as well, that there would be no potential clauses that could allow for prior or pending applications for consideration because of that same October legislation is what
Right.
you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Well then, there we go.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you for your time.
And not to be picky, but none of the board members that were voting on any of this were up for reelection in that election. So there was nothing to do with election or pandering. It was about doing the right thing. Just,
Sal, how are you?
good.
Someone to explain what is light commercial in this town? Where does it get us? Where does it get us? Like, what is the, define light commercial?
So we just have to look, there's a whole zoning schedule of district regulations, and some of them we've changed. So, for instance, there's
I
a
want to
C-
find out what happens in light commercial. I look around the town, there's nothing being done.
I mean,
How do we improve it? I see
By-
the same thing, I'm here 40
We-
years.
we-
I see the same thing inside and out. Nothing's done.
We-
Broken sidewalks, there's a lot of stuff not done.
we improve it
How do we
by-
change it?
We improve it by passing this with the new zoning regulations.
the definition for light
What do
industrial.
we have to do in this town for 2025? What's on the plan?
So I'm going to give you the definition of light industrial, and then I think what we should do, because it sounds like a lot of people in the crowd are here regarding 24 Miller Road. Like Councilwoman Susie said, we are, right, as of right now, that property is being zoned as a PRD with certain exceptions. So let's just cut to the chase. I'll give you the definition of what is light industrial, and then we will give you what is currently going to be allowed with the new zoning classification. Would that be helpful? So light industrial, a use engaged in the manufacture predominantly from previously prepared components or materials of finished products or parts, including possession, fabrication, assembly, treatment, packaging, and incidental storage and distribution of such products, but excluding basic industrial processing. A light industry use shall be required to meet the performance standards set forth in this zoning chapter. And then, Greg, can you pull up the, right here?
The
Yeah, but
pla- the
we add-
PDR?
There was added, PR, wasn't there? added?
PRD is agricultural operations, bars and taverns, restaurants, sit-down and fast food, farm markets, fitness facility, museums, riding academies, horse boarding operations, day camp, movie theater, retail uses, business, medical, and professional offices, and single-family dwelling. Those are the principal permit uses. Then you have a principal uses allowed by special use permit, which is a recreation center, craft beverage establishment, hotel, boutique hotel, cultural and performing arts center, planned mixed-use development, custom workshop or studio, and a resort. So I really think, I know it seems like a lot, but if you take, and if you guys want them, you take, this has, if you look at the map up here, you'll see all the different three-letter, LDR, MDR, PRD. All of that is explained in here is what's permitted in each little area. That may help you understand what this zoning that's been going on for 5 years is permitted in each little area. You don't have to look at all of this, but I really think that if you look at what's permitted in these first two sections, it may help you with the map. Yeah.
Okay.
So Sal, what I heard you saying was, what are we going to do to improve our tax base, to bring things in, because nothing has happened, right?
Yeah, nothing happening.
So this is the second year that we made it to the finals for the big New York Forward revitalization grant. The new grant writer got us there again, which would have brought money to some of the people in the audience that have businesses that wanted to improve them, make them better. Before we can have anything go on, we need to improve our infrastructure. That's parking, sewer, and water. That's why
That's a big problem.
That's why nothing has happened, because we're still trying to get through to New York City. The water, we're at the max here at the Water District 1 in the Hamlet. The Carmel Water District, we're in a whole thing about that at the last meeting, you know how that's going. So that's what has to happen, is we need infrastructure. For that, we need money. So we did put in, again, for more grant money. We've gotten money from our congressman to help us with the downtown. We're hoping to get more money this year, again, with the new grant writer services. This guy's top-notch. So that's where we're going. If we could get money to infuse into the businesses and to improve our infrastructure, that improves our lot and helps us with our school taxes that are killing us. But I'm sorry about that, but that's
It's
the
time,
truth.
it's time.
Yes,
Waited
sir.
long enough. We got to see something. Mohegan surpassed us, right? Pleasantville surpassed us,
Yeah.
okay? It's unbelievable how they got everything and we have nothing.
Yeah, but what Councilman Lombardi is just saying to me is they don't have New York City crimping down their ability to
But
do
it's
anything.
all we hear is water, sewer, water, sewer. When are you going to help the people? It's all we hear. It's water, sewer, okay? Your administration brought it up, those people, about the water. The last administration, it takes another 4 years for those people to hear something about their problem. And the price goes up, and the people suffering. They
Yes.
don't have the use. It's horrible. It's got to be
agree.
changed. It's time. 2025. You got to see some progress.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sal.
Michelle Stewart?
Another beautiful evening. Michelle Stewart, 14 Cornelius Lane. So I'm a Somers resident, but I support Mahopac in every other aspect of my life. My kids went to Pine Grove for over 6 years. Our mechanics, our gymnastics programs, our dance studios, our favorite restaurants, all in Mahopac. So we are absolutely part of this community, which is why I'm here. So we talked about the catalyst for the moratorium that was enacted was to finish the master plan that did sit stagnant for years. And frankly, we did bring this to the board's attention, how wildly inappropriate and dangerous the best proposal was for 24 Miller Road, and that's kind of what got the ball rolling here, right? Yet here we are again, and I think Noel, spoke to this a little bit, with delays on voting for this change of zoning, and we want this vote to happen today, as soon as possible. The sole purpose of zoning is to protect individual properties by imposing restrictions that will ensure that the use of certain locations do not detract or put in harm neighboring properties. Now, I don't know, maybe 24 Miller Road is just not that important to the town because it borders on Somers, so I don't know what the mindset is here. But the projects that go on this parcel of land need to be compatible with the residential zones that are around it. So whether it is something that is light industrial, it needs to be zoned in a way that prohibits this, and I think you guys talked about this a little bit, but our issue is that you're not voting on this today. And Noel talked about how precarious the timing is, how we're at the end of the year. Next year, we know what the climate is of the state. And, you know, our ask is that you practice defensive zoning, putting this town and the people neighboring it in the safest position so that if, in fact, eminent domain does come into play and the governor takes, 30,000 look at Carmel zoning, they don't see a parcel of land that's next to a residential zone that may be deemed appropriate by the town as something like a battery energy facility, okay? So that's like the meat and potatoes of this. The fact that a proposal was basically approved for that kind of land use by the building inspector, I think, tells us the nature of projects that the town and the building inspector think are appropriate. That's an issue. That's the major issue, right? So whether this BESS, which I know you've said is now, outlawed in the town, but it's much broader than that. It's about the fact that the town was actually able to take on an application and look at it, and that a project of that nature, whether it's a BESS or not, that's outlawed, but then what else would be allowed here, okay? So that's why making sure that the zoning is appropriate, because again, you have to think about the compatibility. You would never have an industrial zone next to a residential zone. That doesn't make sense. It's not compatible. And so that's why the zoning for this parcel of land is so important. And our ask of you is that if you cannot vote on, the broad master plan zoning, take a look at 24 Mill Road. That's why we're all here. Vote on that today. Put something into play that actually protects this so that we can put this to rest. Because what is in that December draft of the zoning for planned recreational, yeah, I think we're all okay with that. But that hasn't been voted on. So until that gets voted on, we're all just gonna keep ending up here over and over and over again. So that's really what we're here to talk about. And frankly, listen, you guys are the ones that have to look in the mirror and really be okay with yourselves. And if you're okay leaving a parcel of land that is surrounded by thousands of people in such a precarious position to allow any type of application that put people at risk, that's on you, right? That's on you. But I think it's wrong. And I think that you need to fix it. And I'm gonna ask that you fix it today and not wait for next year, okay? So, thank you.
So the building department did not approve that. That was only an application. So nothing was approved by the town for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, an application goes in and it has to go through the process. So nothing was approved. It was an application. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. Michelle, all of our intentions was to vote on it tonight. Well, my
Yeah, Susie,
intention.
can you explain to them why we
Unfortunately,
can't vote?
Yeah, but
Please.
unfortunately, what
I would
happened...
love to vote on it as well.
There's a small piece of property within the town that the lot lines were adjusted. So what that means is somebody within the past 2 years went to the zoning board and they got their lot lines adjusted. So the maps that we had when they overlaid didn't line up correct. It's a very minor thing, but we have to have, unfortunately, another public hearing because the new map that's on there now is in there, but the public wasn't notified. So what I suggested is that we vote on it in the first Wednesday on January 8th. That's what I'm going to vote for. And that's what I'm going to ask for because unfortunately we can't vote on it tonight because of that lot line thing. So I want the January 8th to vote on it, and I'm here to listen to everybody. So if there's minor changes, we can make the minor changes. Because to me, zoning is fluid. So after we get to this, we vote on it. And then if something down the pike comes down the line, as you know, zoning can always be changed. All right, so I'm just letting you know what my thought is. I'm moving ahead with January 8th, but you need everybody.
Stephanie?
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I live at 11 Lounsbury Drive. I guess I'm just here to advocate for 24 Miller Road to remain planned recreation destination. I don't know what rumors go around Mahopac, but it seems that rumors fly and that this is going to not actually be zoned as planned recreation destination. And it's been on your map as planned recreation destination since I've seen it of June of 2022. Nothing's changed. So I don't know why I'm hearing that all of a sudden that's an issue. That's just what I'm hearing, so I'm just here to say that I want it to stay. I think it's planned recreation destination. It's a safer way to zone that land. You can't have commercial business with the light industrial aspect being surrounded by residential. That's very dangerous, okay? And I live 200 feet off of this property with 2 little children. So, thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Paul Harold? Paul Harold?
Paul Harold, 7 Cornelius Lane. A lot of the same stuff. Just a couple of quick questions. Everybody on the board up here, raise your hand if you've walked on this property, 24 Miller. 1, 2 people. Everybody should have walked this, because then you'd know what you're up against there. You walk in 6 feet off the road, it drops six feet down. It's marsh. You can't do anything else but recreational. You're lucky if you're going to get a walking trail through the place. And yet we thought about putting an industrial battery storage place that we've been fighting for the last year and a half, whatever it's been. The last thing, too, the moratorium. Last time you had told me, when you passed the moratorium, we were discussing how long the whole bit, and I'm sorry, I'm not doing names. On the end, you said, well, we can't pass it tonight because we have to get 10 days to have people call up if they were going to complain. Got pushed to the next month or whatever it was. Next, you were on vacation. I forget, I hope it was a nice vacation. Got pushed another couple of months. And then what I forget, we had an argument that night, and I was told, because I would like to see another moratorium until Equinor pulls all their money, all
But
of their
we made a
paperwork.
law.
but-
There's a law. They can't put it in. There's a law. We don't have a moratorium anymore.
Okay, well,
There's no need
There's
for
a
the
law.
moratorium.
It's
maybe
prohibited.
not Equinor, but another thing, because
Nobody
if you
can.
don't put a moratorium, no, I'm not arguing about the lithium battery, might be another industrial type of thing that will come in, because you don't have a master plan, and you don't have any law against putting it in. So who knows what comes next? You know, maybe a dump, maybe a recycling plant. You don't know, because you can't stop it. You don't have a master plan. And it takes so long. Now we're going into the end of this month, and then it's going to be January. Guess what? You have a master plan, and nothing's happening. It's a wide open, the Wild West again. Anybody can come in and say, I want to do this. And you have no way of stopping it because you don't have the plan up yet. That's all. Oh, one other thing. I was on the phone, too, with Rob Scarano, SOMA supervisor. And again, with what was mentioned before, as far as the home rule. I had asked, because we would like to see yourself and him and the supervisors from Yorktown and this and that all get together, because if HOCO comes at us, you're going to be stronger in a group and then getting picked off one at a time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it would be everybody from upstate, too. It would be all of those ones that they push around. It wouldn't just be the Hudson Valley lower here. Kevin O'Keefe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. All right, just so there's no confusion, right now, the parcel 24 Miller Road in Mahopac was currently and technically still currently zoned as a commercial business park or industrial, so everyone knows that. What the most recent draft is, which we were hoping to be voted on tonight, would change the zoning from this commercial business park to a PRD, which is a planned recreation destination, okay? Now, I could read it from here. A PRD, riding academy, horseback riding, day camps, movie theaters. That sounds wonderful. Now, I can guarantee that everybody coming up to this podium or writing letters under the comments, open comments, I can guarantee everyone is for it to be a recreational destination. There's not going to be anybody to come up here and say, wait a minute, keep this commercial business. If there is, maybe you can count on one hand. So it just doesn't make sense why we wouldn't vote for this to be a planned recreation destination, okay? I did hear it's planned, the PRD, with certain exceptions. I don't know what that means. If you want to explain that at the end, but bear with me. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. I stand here to advocate for the rezoning of the parcel in question, 24 Miller Road, which I believe is imperative for the well-being of our communities, both Mahopac and Somers. The primary purpose of our town's zoning code is to protect the integrity of individual properties, our neighborhoods, and the town as a whole. This code exists to impose necessary restrictions that ensue the uses of properties and the structures built upon them, do not detract from the character and utility of adjacent properties. It is a safeguard for our communities. Zoning districts were established to acknowledge and manage the incompatibility of certain land uses. Zoning districts were established to, industrial activities would disrupt the peace and quality of life that residents deserve. How can we consider placing a battery energy storage facility in the heart of residential neighborhood, as it would be fundamentally incompatible with the needs and exceptions of families living there? In this particular case, we are faced with a proposal for a commercial battery energy storage facility on a site that is surrounded predominantly by single-family residences. The intended use of this parcel is not only incompatible with the surrounding properties, but poses a risk to the character, safety, and tranquility of our neighborhoods. Therefore, I urge the board to consider the implications of allowing such a development in this area. The proposed use would overshadow the residential nature of our community, introducing potential hazards and disrupting the lives of those nearby. It is crucial that we protect the existing uses of adjacent properties and maintain the standards of living that our residents expect and deserve. In conclusion, I implore you to recognize the necessity of changing the zoning of this parcel. Let us ensure that our towns remains a place where the rights and well-being of all residents are prioritized. I also want to stand here today and propose, I understand there is the moratorium, the 6-month moratorium for the master plan for the most importantly, the best facility. I'm here to propose a 6-month moratorium on the zoning. How can we do that? I mean, if we can't come up with the solution tonight, and then you say sometime in January, it's going to get pushed along and pushed along, then there's no moratorium. I just think that a planned recreational zone is just more of a security blanket, an extra layer of protection. Thank you for your attention and consideration. Have a good night.
Charlie?
Hi, everybody. Charlie Melchner, Mahopac, New York. Been here a few years. I want to take a minute and say thank you first to everybody on the board that has taken the time to answer my phone calls, my emails, my many questions, and my lack of knowledge in certain areas and what's going on with our zoning. It has clarified a tremendous amount to me and helped me understand better what is trying to happen out here, and I appreciate all the help I've received. Even from people I didn't reach out to, I got phone calls and calls to explain stuff, so thank you all. And if we didn't connect, I know we've talked multiple times about it. I'm not going to go through my whole email that I sent to some of the board members, but I am going to touch on a few basic things. I'm glad we're not voting on it. I can understand why other people are unhappy about that, but I also know from the other side of it, I believe everybody here on this board who I've met and known either for most of my life or for just a few years, you all have the best interest of our town at heart. That's why you're there. God knows you're not there for the big paycheck or anything else. The abuse you go through, I have told some of you this before, I don't know why you would do it, but I know you have it in your heart and you're doing it for the right reasons, so thank you all for that. It means a lot to those of us that have been on this lake for a long, long time and in this town. They deserve those applause because they really do. When I look at the new rules and the zoning, by far am I anybody that understands it very well, but I do pick out little issues and problems and things that I think could be loopholes or issues that in the future could leave the town open for litigation because of things that quite simply could be changed up front. Wording and things like we had high tide in there. It was a silly thing, but if it's in there and it came down to it, we like to know. I have nothing against lawyers. God knows that we've hired enough of them through the years. But they'll pick out something like that, and that'll turn something simple into a big project. So that was one of the things. The wording and the verbiage that's in there, I think we have to pay close attention to it. It is a tremendous, tremendous amount of work to read that. I've went through as much of it as I can multiple times, mostly concentrating on about 5 pages on the lake stuff. One of the other things I wanted to bring up was when I look over it, and we're talking about frontage and the size of the lots and where the docks are located. Currently, there are many parcels on Lake Mahopac, and I believe there will be some on Kirk Lake as well, that fall underneath the requirements for the new zoning laws to have a dock built on it. You're saying in the zoning laws the proposed footage is 15 foot wide by 30 foot deep, and the dock can only be 6 foot wide and 25 feet long. While it sounds wonderful, and Bonnie, I'm sorry I didn't recognize you over there. I know you're working for us too over here, and I hope we get to see some more stuff get done through you. What's happening with those things, those regulations we're talking about putting in place, you're going to find dozens and dozens of people that have pre-existing docks out there that are going to be deemed illegal. Now, there is quite a bit of talk in here about pre-existing legal docks, which I can appreciate that because it's been a major part of my life growing up, unfortunately. What's happened to me through the years is I've noticed is that you can't rely on the fact that something is just pre-existing and people say it's going to be okay. It needs to be written down and it needs to be said what's what. In that form, when I see that written out legal, the town up until this point has not and still not does not have the authority to give a building permit for a dock. I am not sure how we're going to regulate what was legal before September of 2024. Not my decision to decide that, but we certainly don't have a set of rules on the books that we can legally go by to do that. So I don't know what that means. So people that are out there right now with docks that are grandfathered in, they think they're safe and they're in shape and they're great, but who knows if they're legal? The only person that really knows is the Office of General Services, who owns the lake bed of Lake Mahopac and issues licenses and permits so they can go ahead and build docks out there properly. Now, we know there are a certain amount of docks that we all see that are improperly done on the lake, that are not following the rules and are not going in the good faith that our community had gone in for many, many years. Those particular cases, I believe, need to be handled on more of a one-on-one basis and talked to. I bet you we're talking about less than 6 docks that are going to be in that situation. I ask you, my main question here is that when this does pass, and for the people that think it's going to get kicked down the road, I don't think so. The town is on a mission to get this master plan done and get this done. I've been hearing it over and over, more than I ever have my whole life. I ask you if you could, please consider the fact to give the existing docks on the lake 1 year from the date that you exist to this to go ahead and to come into compliance under what you would deem the old legal rules, which I don't know what those will be, because the new zoning laws that you're asking about putting in place on docks, while I understand why, those zoning laws are very, very strict and will, one, either A, make people have to remove their docks so that they cannot go ahead and use them at all, or they will make them various changes to them. And yes, they could go get zoning things, and they could get variances, and they could go in front of boards. But I will tell you, when you have to go to the zoning board or to the planning board or any one of them, 99% of the time, most of us don't know how to draw it on a map, don't know how to set it all up. We have to hire people. And to hire good people to invest in your expensive piece of property costs a good amount of money. This will ask the community people of the lake, it will cost thousands and thousands of dollars to certain people to get into compliance under the new rules. With that being said, I have one more thing just to toss down towards Bonnie. I looked over in the master plan, the lake zoning thing, or committee, the lake committee and the downtown committee. I ask you to heavily look at what you did there with how, maybe you didn't do it, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say it like that. The lines we've drawn around the lake for those communities, if you, and this is in my email, if you look at them closely, they almost look like they're drawn with a magic marker. If you go ahead and go by those lines, you are going to thrust multiple commercial businesses into what's considered to be a residential zone. Now, whether that means something or not in the future, I don't know. But if I owned one of those businesses, which there's only a few on the lake, and they're all in those zones, I would be awfully scared that the town would pass a master plan that would take my pre-existing beautiful business that's part of our flourishing community and push it into the wrong zone that could potentially get you pushed out. With that being said, I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, a wonderful night. Thank you for your time, everybody.
Thank you, Charlie. Lauren? Lauren? I see you.
Lauren Roslin, Mahopac. I did have a speech prepared, but a lot of what I had written, which was verbiage from our attorney, has already been read to you about the reasons why rezoning properties that are adjacent to residential zones makes a whole lot of sense. So I'm not going to stand here and belabor the same points that everybody has already made. I will say that I think the frustration of the town really is because of the timeline. And it feels, whether it's true or not, that every time we've been told that this is going to be voted on and things are going to be passed, something ridiculous and something small, something comes up, and it makes it feel like we're being lied to, for lack of a better way to say that. And I think that that's where the frustration is lying. I think we want this to be taken care of. We've put a lot of time and effort into being here. I'm countless evenings, stood before you countless times, because it really is something that means that much to us. And I think what's happening is that when we just hear that we're going to push it down the road, we're going to move it from December 11th to December 18th, now we're going to move it to January 8th, it just feels like we're not being listened to, and we're being really told something that's not the truth. So I just want to reiterate that voting on this code means a lot to us, and whether you believe that it doesn't mean as much, it means a lot to us, and it's something that's very important and close to us. This is important to our families. It's important to our health and safety. You say consistently that the new best law protects us. We're being advised that that's not enough. You know, you have to understand why we are relying on our legal counsel to give us the correct information and what we need to believe in. So we're here because we want this done. We want it voted on, and we want it passed tonight.
Thank you, Lauren. Bob Buckley, you're up.
Good, thanks. I'm going to take a little different path than everybody else. I'm going to be a little bit all over the place, but I want to throw a few things out there. I think that having the public hearing on December 18th is a horrible thing to do. It's like giving somebody their papers at the end of the week on a Friday and tell them have a good day. You got Christmas next week, you got New Year's the following week, and if anybody opposes the comprehensive plan that you're talking about voting on, they only have 30 days to file a lawsuit. So I think the timing is bad, and I think you guys moving it forward to January is a good thing. There's no way it could be voted on tonight, because the truth of the matter is a map was used for certain zoning for certain properties that was at least 2 years old. I think Bonnie used the wrong map, and then realized we're using the wrong map to do the zoning. Created a major problem. You had to go back and revisit tonight's meeting, and you had to postpone it because you were using the wrong map. That should be acknowledged. And Mr. Supervisor, is that correct?
Yes, but Bob, I did acknowledge that when I said it. Just so everybody's clear, what I said before is that we were given a map, and I didn't say this part, we were given a map from Putnam County. That's the map that Bonnie used. Bonnie did not use the wrong map. What happened was, like I said before, over the last few years, somebody, a resident, a business owner, a landowner came, they got their lot lines changed. We were not made aware of that. Once we were made aware of that, as I said, like the lines that we had on the map that we got from Putnam County to the new ones, they didn't line up right. again, it's small, but we want to make sure we're doing everything right. So the maps were changed. They were changed yesterday, but by law, or not by law, we just felt it right to make sure that everybody had the right to look at it. It is by law? It is by law, that we change, it was changed to be right. So that's why we postponed it. That's why I was saying that we couldn't vote on it tonight, because of that change. So please, we were not made aware of the lot line change. It's nobody's fault. This stuff happens. But we want to make sure that
Well,
we're
it's
getting it
somebody's
right.
fault, it got done, and,
Well,
anyway,
then,
that's-
if you, then somebody from zoning did not let the consultant or the town board know that a lot line change was made to a map. I like to manage up and not blame anybody, but I'm not gonna sit here and take something. So we were given a map, we used that map, it was brought to our attention that something was changed, we changed it. So that's it in a nutshell, and I'm not gonna go back and forth.
Okay, you fixed the mistake is what you did. So it's about 25 years ago, I think we did the last comprehensive plan. I believe Frank Del Campo was the supervisor at the time. And it was kind of funny that he was somewhat in this type of situation. And he was actually having a debate with the consultant that they hired at the time. And Frank was not happy. So Frank removed that consultant. And at that point, he took the town planner. He got the town planner on board. And the town board and the town planner finished the master plan. I think we might be at a stage now where you might need to do that. You have Councilwoman Susie McDonough working on the master plan for 5 years. She's also serving as the lead for the sewer extension on Route 6. She was doing that with Bobby Chanel for a while. Bobby Chanel is no longer with the town board. That's way too much work. It's very admirable that she's taking all that work, but she does have a full-time job. This is something, I hate to say it to you, Supervisor, this is something you should be probably taking the lead on, the master plan and the sewer. It's just too much for a part-time councilwoman to do. I was informed this week that the outside plan, obviously, as I spoke about, was using the wrong map, but you clarified that, Susie, but it's on the record. I think the board should consider moving on from Bonnie and let somebody else with fresh eyes do a peer review and make the necessary corrections and changes to the master plan so we can finally be finished after 5 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maybe then, some of the many recommendations of the planning board and the town planner will be given real consideration. Does the board still have the confidence in Bonnie? So why do I say that? I speak to many of the board members now, many of the board members in the past board.
Bob, I just want to stop you for a minute. We're not here to bash Bonnie or anybody. So
Listen,
if you want
hold
to
up.
say about the thing...
We got to call it like it is, Susie.
Oh, if you want to call it like it is, Pat Cleary, our town planner, was invited to every single meeting. Do you know how many meetings Pat Cleary attended? Take a guess, please.
Let me tell you.
Zero.
let me
We shouldn't
tell
talk
you-
about personnel.
Okay, so I'm not going to get into a fight, but please don't use
Well,
this as
here's
a
what's
bashing
important.
sentence
Well,
when you don't have the
listen, we
right
gotta be
information.
factual here.
I'm the one that's factual,
There's
Bob.
town board members
I am
here
the one that's
who have made
factual.
recommendations to Bonnie and asked her to make changes, and they have not got done. The town board members are not being listened to. That's atrocious. These people run our town. The consultant, with all due respect, she doesn't run the town. At the end of the day, you guys run the town. And at the end of the day, when I call up some of you, some of you used to say, this board, the past board, it's Susie, it's Susie, it's Susie. They're blaming
not
it on.
it is
One
not
second,
Susie.
let me finish.
It is
Let
the
me
board.
finish. It's Susie. I said, well, it's not really Susie.
No,
it's
thank you.
It's the entire town board.
Exactly.
I said, you could blame Susie all you want. But when judgment day comes, and you all have to vote on it, you're brand new,
Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
year in, couple of you's been here for a while. At the
Yep.
end of the day, if you vote yes to this comprehensive plan, it's yours. You married it. I would make sure you read every 277 page. You read the planning board's 40-page recommendation. Find out what Pat Cleary said. Find out what's not in this master plan. Find out the things that you wanted in the master plan that are not in the master plan. It's pretty sad, to be quite honest with you, that our consultant does not listen to town board members. All right? That's a fact, Susie, unfortunately. All right?
I'm going
You
to
got-
respectfully disagree with you,
Okay,
but
well,
that's okay.
I speak to them and they tell me. So I respectfully tell you, woman to man, when I speak to them, I trust what they tell me. This board and the previous board, okay? So you have two really good professionals. You got Pat Cleary with 25 years' experience as a planner. He's renowned throughout the entire area. You got Mike Carnazza. He's your zone officer. I would suggest that this board here put a stop to having outside people do any more stuff on our master plan and turn it over to your professionals locally who understand the town, who understand what's going on. Nobody knows this place better than Pat Cleary. You need to do a peer review. You know what a peer review is? I know you know, Frank, because you're an attorney. Peer reviews are done by lawyers, engineers, planners, doctors. It's like when you write a paper and you ask somebody, can you review this for me? Yeah, I'll review it for you. Well, a peer review is you need an outside objective group to look at it. You don't need outside. You got internal people, whether it's the planning board, the planner, Mike Carnazza. You need people to look at this with fresh eyes and really take a close look at it.
So could you wrap that up with like your last
All right,
last
well,
couple statements?
how much time did I speak? Because I've been keeping time. You let one gentleman speak for 11 minutes and 35 seconds, so I have kept the time back there. I knew you would do that to me. Thank you. So if I can get my 11 minutes and 35 seconds, I'll be happy.
Nope.
So,
Nope.
well, you
Finish
let
up,
one-
just finish up like your last couple of points here for me, just
Well, I got a lot
out
of
of respect.
points. I got a lot of points here.
Well, we're not going to listen.
I think
for-
as the supervisor, you need to take control. You can't let one person speak for 11 and a half minutes and not me because you don't like what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Okay.
You're the supervisor, with all due respect.
Yeah.
You need to run this master
And I
plan.
am. I'm telling you, make one more point, please, Bob, and
Right.
don't make this a
Well, I'm telling you
a
right now.
confrontation.
All right. I'm just telling you facts, okay?
Okay.
You got
Yeah,
a
and
flawed-
I let the man that was dying of cancer talk for quite a long time, but
No,
I don't
I'm
think
not
you're
gonna-
sick, and I
I'm
wouldn't
not
wish it
gonna
on
get
you, so.
into- I'm not, and I.
So finish up your point,
I have
please,
respect for
sir,
him,
and
okay?
let's go on.
All right, and you're not being fair because you don't want to hear the truth, all right? So it's a flawed document. I think all of you that need to think twice before you vote for it. You can't move forward till the mistakes are corrected. You had Heritage Hill, you could have got sewer there, you didn't get it, and you didn't support a developer who wanted to get sued. You wanted them, now you're going to make me rush through this. You need to deal with Pat Cleary, who's your ace in the hole there, and then you got all these other projects, and I'm going to let them go without getting into detail. We kick the can down the road all the time.
You get another 5 minutes at the end of the meeting, okay?
Okay, I'm done right now.
Okay.
I'm going to give you. I'm
You
gonna
get
give it
public
to you.
comment
I'm
at
going to
the
give
end.
it to you right now. I'm going to give you
Okay.
5 quick things. We kicked the can down the road in this town for years, from Frank Del Campo all the way up to now. Revitalization of downtown Mahopac, kicked the can down the road. Sewers on Route 6, kicked the can down the road. Swan Cove, you buy for $1 million. I was the chairman of Park and Recreation. I said, don't buy it. You weren't on the board at the time. I told them, do your due diligence. They didn't do it. They're millions of dollars into it now. The comprehensive plan we talked about. And last but not least, and this will be my last point, as the chairman of the Parks and Recreation Committee, I got a $250,000 grant from the New York State Dormitory Authority to a couple of senators, because it went from one senator to the next to the next. We did due diligence for 2.5 years, the Parks and Recreation Committee. We had engineer and architect, we had everything done. We presented this town board with a project which they call shovel ready. And I've never heard the town board, any town board, that was probably 8, 9, 10 years ago, it's on your desk still. We have a recreation center proposal. We paid $250,000 of the state's money. You got architectural renderings, all the engineer studies, DEP approval, DEC. Where is that? Why are we doing nothing? We cannot continue just to kick things down the road. And I got more, but I'm going to respect you and not argue with you anymore.
Thank you.
All right? You really do need to consider let your professionals do the rest of this master plan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, that was the last speaker. So can I get a motion to close this part, but keep the public hearing? This part of the public comment, or no? Right, so we're just keeping open till at least January 8th. All right, so a motion to keep the public hearing open at least until January 8th. Okay.
Second.
Okay, Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That's for Alice. I'll get a motion to open the town board voting meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Lombardi, and all in favor? Aye. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes from December 4th and December 11th town board meeting?
So just so people, yeah, can I
Thank
talk to
you.
for a second?
Mike, if you wanted to mention, anybody wanted to grab one of these
Thanks. So,
So,
Kevin changed it yesterday. Would somebody make a motion to accept the town board minutes from December 4th and the 11th?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think it's the green stuff, because I smelled it the first time they put it in. Is the green stuff still there? Sorry.
Good night. Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So Rob Kearns made a motion for the minutes to be accepted. Susan
Great.
seconded, and everybody said yes.
You could be a clerk.
I don't think I'm smart enough to be a clerk. So our first resolution is authorizing budget modifications. Councilman Lugo, could you read that?
Whereas Town Comptroller Marian Maxwell has reviewed the proposed budget modifications for the period ending November 30th, 2024, with the Town Board, which are detailed and explained on the attached budget revision schedule 2024/6A. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes and ratifies the budget modifications revisions for the period ending November 30th, 2024, as shown itemized on the schedule 2024-06 and 2024-06A, attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Kearns and Lombardi. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Our second resolution is authorizing purchase Town of Carmel Police Department. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Chief of Police Anthony Hoffman, hereby authorizes the purchase of 15 conductive energy devices and 15 body-worn cameras with required accessories and components from Axon Enterprises, Scottsdale, Arizona, at a cost of $184,948.30 under New York State Office of General Service Contract PM 69698, and in accordance with the proposal dated December 12, 2024, which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Second by Kearns. Could we get a roll call, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. The third resolution is authorizing purchase Town of Carmel Police Department. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Chief of Police Anthony Hoffman, hereby authorizes the purchase of new records. This is the RMS software. Is it the right one?
Is this the right number, Chief?
602. That's the right number. Okay. 602-722.41. Yes, that's correct. Thank you. Thank you.
This is Greg's one mistake he's allowed all year.
Good thing it's the end of the year.
It works out well.
Yeah.
He gets a reset.
So, purchase a new records management system, computer-aided dispatch software platform from Motorola Solutions, Inc., Chicago spelled wrong, Chicago, Illinois, under Sorthwell Contract 051321-MOT, pursuant to New York State General Municipal Law 103, sub 16, an overall 5-year estimated cost of $602,722.41 in accordance with the proposal which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof. Offer this as read.
Second.
Seconded by Kearns, and we have a roll call on that, please.
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. The next is authorizing amendment to the subject matter retention list. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read that,
Sure.
please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the request of Town of Carmel Chief of Police Anthony Hoffman, hereby authorizes addition of an addendum to the existing Town of Carmel subject matter list and office retention schedule, detailing that the Town of Carmel Police Department, in compliance with the New York State Law Enforcement Accreditation Program Standard 8.5, records retention, will remain town records retention and disposition schedule in accordance with Local Government Schedule 1, LGS-1, issued by the Commissioner of the New York State Department of Education. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
I think we could do all in favor, right? Yes. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
So.
Number 5 is declaring certain equipment obsolete and authorizing its disposal. Councilman Kearns, could you read number 5?
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Chief of Police Anthony Hoffman, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby declares the following equipment obsolete and hereby authorizes its disposal in accordance with town law. A 2004-21 Boston Whaler Justice Vessel 210 JC, VIN number 04-210JC. Boat Master Trailer number BCG21GSJT-69. For this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 6 is adopting the 2024 user fee schedule. Councilman Lugo, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby adopts effective immediately the Town of Carmel user fee schedule for fiscal year 2025 in form as attached hereto and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Take a roll call.
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 7 is accepting proposal for an income survey. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that?
Resolve the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby adopts the proposal of G&G Municipal Consultants, Spencerport, New York, to perform an income survey within the town to be utilized in connection with future Water Infrastructure Improvement Act grant applications and New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation funding applications at a cost not to exceed $26,000, and in accordance with the proposal dated October 31, 2024, I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Absolutely.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Yes.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. So for the people in Water 2, we put in numerous requests for money from the state and the federal government for grants to help with the water. Our new grant writer is suggesting that if we do this study, then we have a better chance of getting money to help with the water plant up there in 2 that we're working on now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do for us.
He's better get it done, I think. So number 8 is resolution authorizing the awarding of bids for blacktop. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby accepts the bids for the purchase of blacktop and curb in place to Cove excavators per Putnam County bid number RFB 38-23 per New York State Municipal Law 103 sub 16 for the period commencing January 1, 2025 through and including December 31, 2025. I offer this as read.
Second.
Can we get a roll call on that?
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Next up is authorizing a purchase, Town of Carmel Assessor's Office. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read
Sure.
that?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Assessor Scott McMillan, hereby authorizes the purchase of a new cabinets for the Assessor's Office from Interspace Systems under New York State OGS contract number 70185, Group 20915, award number 23295, from Interspace Systems, Brewster, New York, at a cost not to exceed $21,250, in accordance with the proposal dated December 11th, 2024, which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Could we get a roll call, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. Number 10 is a resolution authorizing purchase of equipment, Carmel Police Department. Councilman Kurtz, could you read that?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Chief of Police Anthony Hoffman, hereby authorizes the following purchases of equipment for the Town of Carmel Police Department as pre-filed on with the Town Clerk. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes. And our last resolution, adopting final ARPA and SLFRF funds allocation and encumbrances. Councilman Lugo, could you read that?
Yes. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby adopts and confirms its American Rescue Plan Act stand and local fiscal recovery funds obligations, allocations, and encumbrances as set forth on schedule attached hereto and paid a part hereof. And be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor, Michael Cazzari, is hereby authorized to execute any interagency agreement with any department within the Town of Carmel necessary in connection with the within obligations. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilman Lugo?
Aye.
Councilman Kearns?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Cazzari?
Yes.
So, Mike, do you want to maybe explain to everyone at home that resolutions 2, 7, 8, 9, and 10, we're going to be utilizing ARPA funds for those?
Oh, yeah.
So those aren't coming out of taxpayers' pockets?
Yes. Well, you just did.
Oh, man, I mean, yeah, that works too. That works too.
But thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
Yes. So announcements was the town hall will be closed Wednesday, December 25th, Christmas, and Wednesday, January 1st, New Year's. And our next meeting is going to be on January 8th, 2025. And the menorah lighting ceremony up in the Hamlet of Carmel is on Sunday, December 29, 4 p.m. on the shores of Lake Glenida. Anybody want public comment? No? Okay.
Wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, safe, healthy for everyone. And we'll see you on January 8th.
Anybody else?
Yeah, just wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and that's it. I look forward to my last year as a councilwoman.
Happy holidays to everybody.
All right,
Yeah,
motion.
hold on, it's my time now. I want to reiterate what everyone else said. Happy holidays. It's year one has been fun. I'm looking forward to year two, serving everyone in the town of Carmel. And January 25th, we will be doing Operation Ice Splash, the second annual. We're expecting a large turnout to raise money for local veterans. If you're interested in sponsoring or volunteering in any capacity, please reach out to myself or the VFW. We have many jobs for anyone who's willing to help out. So if you came last year and jumped in, it was a good time. Councilwoman McDonough had promised that she would be jumping this year, so I am going to make sure that happens. So again, happy holidays, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the new year.
Somebody make a motion to close the meeting?
I'm only jumping in if Supervisor Cazzari jumps in.
So moved.
No.
He's not healthy enough.
So moved.
That's right. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Alice.